What's going on, motorsports fans? This is Jared here with the Beardedgaragistas. Again, Brett is not with us today. The whole coronavirus thing is pretty scary for him and his family and the preemie baby that they got going on over there and the newborn. So it's going to be me for a little bit, but he is going to come back. He's still working on things behind the scenes, and he'll always be around. If you're listening on the podcast, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, 5 stars wherever you're at. If you're on the YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notifications, do your thing, and we really appreciate you joining us. And don't forget to visit beardedgaragistas.com. A lot of cool things up there. Patreon shop is coming. We're just waiting on the state of Florida, like always, but we're going to get there. Today, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Michael John Porco. I'm from Lake Worth, Florida.
There you go.
I'm racing in the IRRA, International Road Racing Association, and I have a EK 4-door Civic sedan with a V20 in it, non-VTEC, on 100 shot of nitrous. I've always been into racing since I was a kid. Don't want to elaborate too much on the story, but to give you a little synopsis, a game on the Super Nintendo is called Top Gear.
That's what got you started.
Fell in love with it when I was 3 years old. I remember it.
So I've been give you a little background. I've been following. We've been following each other on Instagram for a long while. First on my photography page, and then on Bearded Garagistas. And I've watched the build. I've watched you put some things together on it. I know you've been through some trying times in the past and recently, and I told you I wanted to get you on the show, just waiting for the right time and fit you in the right spot. And I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So we're going to kind of go over as much as we can, but I guess we can start at where your first car, like your first race car, right? Okay. So we'll start from the first race car, and then we'll kind of build into that, and hopefully we can kind of hit everything on the way. So what was the first race car that you kind of built? I know you told me before, you may not have raced it.
Yeah, like in PBIR or anything.
Yeah, but
just for fun.
Where'd you start learning?
Actually, I went to college right out of high school for mechanics school at Palm Beach State College in Lake Worth, Florida.
Okay.
I did right out of high school. 3 months after high school, I was in there. And at the time, it was a very slow car, but I had a little Subaru automatic non-turbo, just a 2.5i.
I've been there.
Had a little exhaust on it with the unequal length header to give it that boxer rumble.
Okay,
that was actually my first car. Was actually a 07 Impreza, the Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Black.
I had the same kind of car.
Yep. Automatic.
I didn't do anything to it though. I left it bone stock.
That's all I did. You can't really do much. I mean, that's why they make the WRX and the STI for
pretty
super,
much.
like that's like your car to modify and do.
Facts.
So I had that, and really I just put exhaust on it. Did knock those rims on. I used to have the gold BBS from the STI on it.
Oh, okay.
I actually had those at one point on it. Picked them up on Craigslist for like $500. Some tires on. I was like, they fit for they're 5 lug by 100.
I bash on eBay
STI.
a lot. I bash on eBay and Craigslist a lot, but it comes through every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I found some stuff. I've had hit or miss stuff on Craigslist. I've sold car parts on OfferUp that I've made money from that. So
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
But that was my first car. First car I ever had that actually really did the more modifications to myself was I had a 1994 Civic DX.
Okay.
With it had the D15 B7 in it.
The boxy shape, right?
Yep.
So my first car ever, and we've talked about this before, was a 91 Toyota Camry. But it was pretty much the same freaking thing. I mean, they looked exactly the same. But yeah, the only way you had to start that car was you had the ignition was messed up. So you had to get in the car, turn the key to on, pop the hood, take a cable and touch it from the starter to the positive on the battery, and then it would start up. You'd be doing that in like ankle deep snow in New York. Not a great thing, but you got to do what you got to do. But so all imports?
Yeah.
Never any American.
All imports. Just the Subaru was first, and then after that, it's all been Hondas and Acuras.
All Hondas and Acuras.
All Honda and Acura.
All right, faith. You got faith.
So that's what it's. The first car was. There's a little bit of a story when I got it too. That '94. It was busted. It was at the time I lived with my girlfriend. This is like 6 years ago.
Okay.
And we were sharing the Subaru, so I was like, "Yo, I need to pick up a car."
Oh, yeah.
I always was into Hondas, never had one. It was a good excuse to get one.
Of course.
They're cheap. So we actually picked it up, found it on Craigslist off of Oakland Park Boulevard. Um,
Why does everybody buy shit from Oakland Park Boulevard, bro? I think Jermaine said the same thing.
This is my first Honda. Yeah, I got off Oakland Park. Gas station like a Chevron, I think, if my memory serves me right. This was back in 2014. Yeah, it was like 6 years ago, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was 20 years old. Yeah, I was living at the time with my girlfriend way back when, and we picked it up for $900.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, busted car. I mean, it drove, and I drove it back from Oakland Park to Lake Worth.
There you go.
I had no tag. My ex was behind me in the Subaru, just hugging me the whole way.
That's
so
normal.
I couldn't the whole way back because I had no tag
That's
for
normal.
it. But it was it was when I got it. It is busted, man. 3 big cracks on the windshield.
Oh, man, not bad.
Brake master cylinder was leaking. Brake pedal would go to the floor. The clutch master was so bad you could actually put your foot under and kick it up to you like a half inch. It had that much play. Like, the car was a mess. Yo. That's all I could afford. I wanted another set of wheels, so like we weren't keep sharing a car, and I always wanted a Honda. It kind of gave me an excuse to get it. So yeah, that was the first car. I actually ended up putting a little turbo on it.
Okay.
On the stock single cam, non-VTEC, a little CX Racing turbo kit, super budget. Did it myself actually when I moved back at the time. My dad and my stepmom. I did it in their driveway, pulled the trans out, did the clutch, all that stuff there, and put it on boost. Yeah, ARP head studs, a little Comitech head gasket, you know.
So you've been kind of tinkering since you started.
Yeah, this was back in like 2014, 2015. That's like when I did my first like Honda, got into it, like started, you know, going in and doing something. Just
So
started
a 94 Honda
Civic
got you
Coupe DX,
got you hooked.
The roll-up windows, no power steering from the factory.
Honda Pro Jason would be proud. Honda Pro Jason would be proud.
that was the first car, yeah.
All right, too easy. You never brought that to the track. It was kind
Never
of
did. Actually, that car, it didn't last me that long. To be quite honest,
It didn't make it.
It didn't really last that long. I mean, I had like, I forget the brand, like 750cc injectors. I had a little base map ECU PO6 because it was non-VTEC, so
Right.
it was PO6. Little Walbro 255 pump. I had a little roll cage in it too, actually. A four bar from Auto Power.
Probably not a bad idea, even if it was like made
gutted,
out of like.
so like I didn't even have a dashboard in it.
Could have made it out of
was
cardboard.
just-
It still would have been better than what you had.
It was just a gutted little single cam on boost.
That's funny.
It's real budget, you know. And I actually ended up throwing a rod on the street, like probably like a half a mile away from the house I was living at the time. It was super funny. My boy Matt, he came with his Silverado, like a big, you know, toe strap and everything, and we just towed it back.
Wait until you hear the episode I did. We just recorded. Wait till you hear, because it's coming. It should be actually out tomorrow, but blowing cars up left and right, so it's pretty funny. So you're not the only one.
Yeah,
you're not
I mean,
the
I'm
only
gonna
one.
be 100 and keep it honest. That's really that was that car. Like straight up, that's really what happened with that car. I learned a lot from it though.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. I did the Skunk 2 like Pro Series. I'm not the Pro that. I think it's the Pro Series. I forget. Like the basic intake manifold.
Right.
The throttle body. I bored out to port match it because I had a 70 millimeter throttle body by Skunk 2, and the manifold I believe was a 66 millimeter opening.
Okay.
So like you know, the Dremel grind. I mean, I did, you know, fun stuff. It's the first time I ever put like ARP head studs in a car.
I mean,
and all that stuff.
That's
you know,
not a bad
it was,
car to learn off of though, because those cars were really easy to work on.
Yeah,
So-
super, especially the single cams.
Yeah, there was not really a lot of stuff going on under the hood, so you were easily be able to get in there and kind of learn what you needed to learn.
Yeah, it was.
Not bad, not bad. What'd you get after that Civic?
After that, I actually ended up picking up another single cam. It was already on boost.
Okay, so
I got
it's
it
kind
for
of
pretty cheap. The guy was said, "Oh man, the car, you know, if you're not spooling, you know, when you're driving, you don't get the turbo spool up, it doesn't overheat. But the second you start spooling it, you just see the temperature gauge just fly up." He's like, "I don't know what's wrong with the car, man." I picked it up for like $1,200.
At least he was honest with you, though.
Yeah, he was honest.
A lot of people
cool,
probably
man.
wouldn't even tell you that.
It was a VTEC. It was a D16 Z6.
Okay.
Picked it up for $1,200, and I test drove the car, and I ended up spooling up the turbo. I actually got on it really hard, and I seen the temperature gauge fly up.
Yeah.
And
Did you ever find out what was wrong with it?
yeah, I ended up fixing it.
What was wrong with it?
It was it had stock head studs. Head was lifting under boost.
Really?
You could see coolant coming down the side. Yeah, when I test drove it with my friend Chris, the guy wasn't with me, and I remember I hit and I pulled over, and I could smell it. I could see coolant coming down the side, so the head was lifting
Yeah.
under boost.
That makes sense.
So
I could see how that
head
was.
studs did the trick.
And then I actually ended up having to sell that car, though. I kind of wanted to keep it and do stuff with it. My dad and my stepmom got divorced.
Okay.
And I have 2 older brothers with mental emotional disabilities.
Okay.
And at that time, they left the group home. And when I moved into an apartment again, they moved with me. And I sold it because I still had the Subaru at that time.
Right.
I sold it for money to do like the first, last security and all that stuff at the apartment. I had to give it up, you know.
Damn.
Didn't want to, but I mean.
Grown man things.
Yeah, I was 22 at that time, yeah.
That's a shitty way to grow up quick, but it'll.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucked, but I mean, I had to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But it probably taught you, lessons that you had to learn when you were younger to kind of make you the man you are today.
It definitely matured me.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing with my brothers too, for that time frame too.
Right. How they doing now?
They're good. They're in the house where, they were living with my dad for the last couple of months, and then I know he passed away on March 13th. And
Sorry to hear about that.
It's okay. It's all part of the journey.
I feel you.
It's all part of the journey.
That's a good way to look at it.
And I'm here on Earth, and everything I say and I do. He watches my every move, along with my mom too. My mom died when I was 9 in 2002, and
Jesus.
they watch everything I do. So I gotta be the best me I can, and honor God and be righteous and do the right thing for me and the people around me, because they're watching over everything I do.
Sure.
Saying I do.
Sure. I mean, pretty impressive to be able to go through a lot of the things you went through and still do the things you love. Right, a lot of people have to step up to the game at 22 like that. Your old man passed away recently, and a lot of things when things hit you that young, in some of my experience and things I've seen, a lot of times it crushes people and it sets them back.
Absolutely.
And they're not able to go out and do the things they love. I know I work with a young lady right now who took over custody of her 2 stepbrothers.
Wow.
Because I guess something going on in her family. But things like that, like, it really restricts you. So I can see what she's going through. So I can imagine what you're going through. So it's a lot of work. But to be able to go through things like that and still have a dream, still have like your thing like that,
Absolutely.
it's inspirational. But
Thank you.
yeah, no
Thank
worries.
you. I appreciate
After that 94.
After that, the white
So
one, the boosted one I sold because I moved with.
So what was the one you had after the 94 Civic?
That was also a 94.
Oh,
though.
so
It
you
was
went from
also
94 to
another
94,
94,
but
actually.
just got the VTEC.
And then, it was a different car, obviously, I picked up. It was a single cam VTEC,
Right.
D16 Z6, and I put
And
the
then you
ARP
went-
head studs in it.
Right.
I didn't really do much to it. I only had it for like maybe 2 months, and then
Oh.
that whole thing happened, and I had to sell it.
Damn, that's quick.
I was planning, the clutch was actually slipping on that car. It was slipping, like you would boost sometimes.
But you sold
when
it before you changed the clutch, right?
I did sell.
Oh,
I didn't
good
even
job.
get a. That was going to be one of the next things I was going to do to the car. Put some solid mounts in it. It had a lot of stock stuff. The car was very stock. Had the turbo kit on it,
But it had potential.
but it had potential,
Yeah.
And I definitely was going to try to do something with it, squeeze out some more power, make it at least more reliable, like solid mounts, just
Right.
like a stage 3 clutch or something. It actually had a stock clutch. That's what the owner told me. It was run a stock clutch. It would slip. Like before I sold it, you would start spooling. It would like, and you know what I'm saying? Because like there's
Yeah.
no load because it's
Yeah.
actually slipping off the flywheel, and like
Oh,
you would just
man.
start hearing it like come out the blow valve. It was mad funny. It was
That's-
super funny. Like it would just start slipping. It was
Custom. That's
yeah,
custom.
it was it was really funny. Yeah.
What'd you get
actually.
after that?
After that, I actually so I just kept the Subaru for a little bit. Now
Okay.
I moved back. I mean, not moved back. I moved in with my brothers. Now we're in an apartment at this time, 3 of us.
Right.
It's about 2016 to give you a time frame, and saved up some money. I picked up a little DA Integra.
Okay.
Don't see many of those.
No.
Little DA Integra.
Yeah.
Got in Port St. Lucie. It had a LS VTEC in it. That car I honestly didn't really
Play around with.
do much with. I was just moved with my brother, like all of us together.
That
ones
would
with
have been one of the cars to
disabilities.
do something to.
I know you don't see many DA Integras, and it actually was pretty nice on the outside. It wasn't that like beat up or anything. It wasn't
Right.
like super clean, but it definitely wasn't like beat up.
No,
by any means.
yeah.
It was definitely a fairly clean car.
Right.
Yeah, it was LS VTEC. I didn't really. That car, I only had it for about like 3 months. One thing, I got a funny story. Getting pulled over in it actually. Now that, so it's good you brought up that car. It could bring up a funny story. It's actually really cool, interesting, and funny. And it resulted in not getting a ticket. I just got away. The verbal warning.
All right,
actually.
I'll tell you. You tell
So-
me your story, and then I'll tell you my pulled over story.
So the DA. Well, I have a lot actually.
Oh.
I've gotten pulled over
probably maybe 6-7 times for speeding. And I've only gotten a ticket maybe once out of the time.
You're lucky, bro, because I'll tell you that
I'm
every
super
time I've
humble,
been pulled
bro,
over,
when the cops pull me over, man, I'm very, like, I have my stuff ready. I tell them, like, yo, I did, like, I know I was speeding. Like, I'm super humble about it.
bro. There was a 5-year span where I had a ticket clinic on speed dial, my friend. Like, you know how many? I don't know how many tickets they got me out of that don't even show up on my record. But yeah, but go ahead. I need to hear the story
So
now.
with the DA, didn't do much to it, but one thing that did stand out to me I did do was I put a K-Tune traction bar on it.
Okay.
And I actually was gonna try to get into doing drag racing with it, going like to the street racing, made safes and stuff like that. You know, the events there. And I put a little K-Tune traction bar on it.
Okay.
And me and my friend Chris, lives in Boca, go to church with. Put it on. We did it together.
All right.
And later that night, leaving him, driving it back to Lake Worth. I'm driving in Lake Worth on Jog Road. I'm at a red light. And I'm like, man, I just want to step on it, see if it keeps me more straight planted, you know, with the traction bar.
Yeah, you put something on. You got to test it out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, you just every gear, I'm just chirping tires. You know what I mean? I'm just, chirping tires. And all of a sudden, I just see the red and blue lights. I'm like,
shit.
Like, oh, man.
Damn it, there it
Here
is.
we go. I'm like, I don't even know how fast I was. I just know I was getting into it. I was just so into, you know what I mean? Like, I'm passionate about it. It's like, I don't know. I don't really know how fast it's going. So pulled over. And it's a female cop.
Oh, no.
Super funny, though. And it's interesting, too. She pulls me over. She's like, do you know what you were doing wrong? And I was like, she's like, I could hear your tires. You kept, like, screeching, you know? And I'm like, I tell her, I'm like...
Like, you can hear it? I can hear it, too. That shit's awesome.
It is awesome. I know. I was like, I mean...
Don't ever say that to the cop, by the way.
Don't do that.
Don't say that to the cop.
Oh, you don't want to do that. Don't want to piss them off. And I was super respectful, you know. She's like, you have a license, registration, of course, insurance. Always have insurance on my car. Try to do it the right way. Give her everything. And she's like, you know, you were doing wrong. And I was like, I think I was driving a little fast. I know I was, getting into it.
Right.
She comes back really quick, actually. Like, super quick after I give her all my stuff. Like, really quick. Like, I was like, that's weird. She's walking back, and she's like, do you remember me? I was like, no. And she's like,
no.
When you were a kid, I worked at the pediatrician office, like when you're a child.
Okay.
She's like, I remember your mom taking you there.
Oh,
she recognized my last name.
Wow.
And she knew my mom passed away. Super crazy.
Bro.
Like, when I tell this super crazy.
I don't know about you, but anytime a woman says to me, do you remember me? I'm like...
Oh, yeah, it wasn't. I knew it wasn't anything like that. I knew it was just, I kind of was just like, in my head, I'm like, I don't remember you. I don't know where I would have known you from. And like, she's like, yeah, I remember when you were a kid.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, you would always be playing on the Game Boy. Your mom would tell you you're playing those racing games. I had Top Gear also for the Game Boy.
Hey, gotta have it.
And it's crazy. She remembered that. And she's
That's crazy.
seen me like driving on the road like that. And yeah, it's crazy. She knew my mom, and she remembered when I was a kid going there, and she just let me go. Verbal warning. Didn't even give me a wrench. She just gave me my stuff, and she's like, just, drive safer and calmer on the road.
That's one of the luckiest stories I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was super interesting. It was like in November 2016. I remember the time when it was.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, mine,
Yeah.
I think I actually told mine, like the time I got pulled over and the cop left me there. Did I say that on this podcast yet? I might have, but I don't remember. I might have said that. But what happened was I was driving to, like, after I would get up stupid early and work construction from like 04 to like whatever time, get out, go to school, do night college, and then get out of college. And I was borrowing my dad's van for something. My truck broke down or something like that. And my dad used to do vertical blinds, so he had an Econoline 150 van with like a big signs on the side of like what he did, his business. And I get pulled over. Cop comes up to the window, license, registration. I give him my license. I'm like, I don't know where the registration is. I don't know where the insurance is. It's my old man's work van. I know it's registered and insured. I just don't have that information. I apologize. Okay, hang tight. Goes back to the car, does his thing, turns the lights off, drives away.
No.
I'm like, what do I do now? The first time I've ever been pulled over, I'm probably like 18 maybe, and I'm like, I don't know what to do now. So I called my dad. I think back then we had the Nextels. So I chirped my dad. I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do. And he's like, what happened? I tell him what happened. He's like, just wait there, man. Like, I don't know what you want. I've never had that happen in my life. So I waited there for 25 minutes. Cop pulls back up. jumps out the car, hands me back the license, goes, sorry, you fit, there was a robbery in the neighborhood and we were looking for,
Okay,
I'm like,
gotcha.
I'm driving a red van with white and yellow lettering on the side that says blinds on it with a phone number, an address. Why would I be robbing a house with all this on that? I was like, I kept that all to myself. That was going through my head.
So
but
he thought you were
he thought
potentially
I was robbing a house in a work van. I'm like, whatever, dude. But yeah, 25 minutes sitting in the middle. It was probably like 1 a.m, too. Rough times. But get sidetracked. That's my funny story for the day. After you had, are we up to this yet?
So,
because I really want to talk about this.
Getting close.
Okay.
We're actually not too many. Not
I'm
too
excited
many cars,
to talk about this,
not
man.
Not too many cars ahead. And I can. There's not so much to talk. I can speed up a little bit
do
if
you
you
think?
want
No,
to.
do you think?
What about? So the DA
got time.
actually, it started knocking. The DA Integra started
Just
getting
randomly.
low knock, bottom end knock. I mean, I would beat the piss out of the car. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't expect nothing less. I mean, it was like I said, LSV Tech. It had the EM1 SI head on it.
He's like, I'm not gonna lie, I beat the
And-
snot out of the mother.
I mean, dude, it would again. It had a base map ECU from when I got it from the guy, and it would redline at like 8,600. What it was saying, I would take it up there. Like I remember every day going to work, I'd have to go in 441. It was a daily thing. I would take second gear to third.
Every green light.
Every
Wow.
morning, bro, I would just take it to 86. Bam, bam. I would just. So I mean, it didn't surprise me. I had the Subaru as my daily, so I was like, I mean, if something did happen, I didn't expect that to happen, but it knocked. I ended up selling it for like dirt cheap, someone local in Lake Worth area.
Okay.
And then I at that time, I was still driving the Subaru for a little bit. I picked up an EK Coupe. I barely had this car. I only had it for maybe like a month.
You guys changing cars like you change your underwear, man. What the?
I mean, at this time though, I never really had a lot of money. I mean, I still don't, but a lot of money to play with because I was living in the apartment with my brothers with a disability. So it's like, I'm working with peanuts here. So I got a little cup, like $1,000, a little over $1,000. I picked up this EK. It had the JDM single cam in it, the D15B VTEC. I wasn't really feeling the car. It wasn't really what I wanted. So I ended up only having for like a month. I sold that in a Lake Worth area. And really also why I sold it was very interesting story of the car I had after that. I had an RSX Type S.
Okay.
That's orange one.
I had a buddy of mine who had a blue one, wrapped it around a tree. He was a guitarist, probably one of the best guitarists I've ever met. And when he wrapped it around the tree, he snapped his arm in half, never played guitar again. I was like, sad story, bro. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. That's totally fine. Orange Type S. Very interesting story how I got the car. Or the Blaze. I think it's called the Blaze Orange Metallic.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah,
I don't remember too
rare.
many. I don't see that as too much.
And it was the 0506, so it was like the one without the little dips in the headlight and the taillights. Like the clean, like I love the 0506.
I'm gonna have to do some research for you guys. If I can find a picture of it, I'll throw it up on the YouTube video.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead. So, what'd you do to that?
So an interesting story how I got it. Where I go to church at, my friend Chris, he had the car. I was actually with him when he got it a few months back before he sold it to me.
Right.
And the EK that I sold, that white one that I wasn't feeling, he was like, yo, give me that money for that as a down payment. And you could just pay me back the rest for the car, no interest. Like, because he knew my brothers and everything. He's like, I know you want a fun car and stuff. He was like, yo, you could pay me back, no interest. Just when you get to it, the total, just pay me back when you can pay me back. For the car, it had a JDM K24A in it, the stock Type S trans with no LSD.
I'm shocked. Chris sounds like a good dude.
Yeah, super cool. He's definitely one of my best friends. I got a few good friends. He's definitely one of them. He sold me it, and I was slowly paying him back. But what kind of sucked with the car was 3 weeks into having it, notchy to go in every gear, super notchy. I'm like, man, like this kind of like, man, I'm getting this car, working out this deal. He's super cool about it. I'm like, notchy. So coming home from work one day, it just won't even go into gear. Nothing.
That's interesting.
Nothing. Like I'm like first, I'm like. Like those are the cable, the K series are cable, so you kind of feel it like lunging a little bit,
right? It's trying
but it's not going in.
Not locking into the gear.
Man, I was only probably maybe about a half a mile away from my apartment,
right?
So I just kind of got into third, over revved it, so like it wouldn't stall when I took off in third, which obviously is you don't want to take off in third, but I had to do
burning out the line
to get home. So
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I just had to get it back to the apartment complex. You know, I got in, pulled it in, and yeah, it wouldn't go in any gear. And I'm like, damn, like, bro, I owe him money through time. I know he's not pressing me over it.
Right.
But, like, I owe him this money. Now the car doesn't even drive.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
So I still had the Subaru, which was a little bit older at this time.
I
So,
don't know
like,
if all right, let me
Yeah.
I don't mean to jump you out, but like if anybody has noticed, the Subaru's still going strong.
well,
All this shit, all these other cars.
AC wasn't working at this time, and they had a bad wheel bearing. And
Dude,
that was,
what is it with Subarus and air conditioning, bro? You're
yeah,
like the fourth
the
person.
evap core. It was. I never even ended up fixing it because I'll tell you when I sold it. But it was the evap behind the dash.
I had a Subaru with no AC. Everybody,
yeah, it was no
bro.
AC, man. I had a bad. One of the rear wheel bearings made so much noise. It was. So I was just like, man, I got to drive that for now. I mean, at least it drives.
Right. What was wrong with the RSX?
The RSX, so I'll tell you when it happened. So at this point, I knew I was going to have to end up dropping the transmission and see what's going on, on inside.
Yeah.
And I was actually on a waiting list for a garage in my apartment complex.
Okay.
I
know
on
how
a-
that works.
Yeah, all my tools were in a storage unit.
Yeah.
If I worked on them, I would have to go like behind the dumpster and pull them out of the storage. It was like,
Yeah, it was
it
shitty.
sucked.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I didn't get the garage until like 1 whole year after I lived in the apartment complex.
I remember those times. I had to do the same shit.
So the RSX sat for a little bit. But I found my answer before I got the garage. So put the car in first gear, foot down the clutch, try to start it. Now, obviously, if you're in first gear, but your foot's on the clutch, it's going to separate away
Right.
from the flywheel.
Should be fine.
The car lunged forward. So it's not separating from the flywheel.
Uh-oh.
It's staying pressed against the flywheel. So I'm like, okay, I definitely have to drop it. See, clutch
Yeah.
kit's definitely calling my name, throw up bearing, all
Yep.
that stuff. I know I'm good. I
You
know what I'm
start seeing
starting
the
to get.
money crank up and
Yeah, I was like, I think I know what I'm gonna be up against once I get the garage and a
Right.
couple, some money to get a clutch kit and everything.
Sure.
So the garage finally opened to me. RSX sat for like 4 months. Damn. Just sat outside my complex. Everyone was probably looking at me like, dude, what the heck's up with that car, bro?
Yeah,
It's
walk
just-
past it and you
just
get-
sitting-
as you
start
get
putting like
into
the
your-
violations on it because it's just sit. I had to tell the security people like, bro,
Like-
it just doesn't drive.
Yeah.
Like it's my car. Like it has a plate on it, see everything's good.
that's
like,
gotta hurt you inside. You gotta walk past it to go get in your other car and you look at it and you're like,
Yeah, it was very humbling to just have patience and wait. Because I didn't have a place to, like, drop the subframe and do
Right.
all that and didn't really know what else I was going to find when I
Right.
started taking it apart. So I actually did the clutch myself.
okay.
I tackled it. Chris, the one that did the deal with me with the car, he ended up being there for the teardown, and I ended up putting everything back together. I
All
just
right.
had one of my neighbors real quick line up the trans. K-Series trans are like a little bit kind of awkwardly shaped just to start getting to like the bolts, thread into
Right.
to the engine. And from there, I did everything else.
Damn.
I did the whole thing on Monday when they were off on Labor Day of 2017. I remember the day I was out there for
You got a
hours.
hell of a memory, bro. I can't
Yeah.
remember what the hell I did yesterday. This
I put
dude
the
like
whole
this day
thing.
at this time I did this.
Yeah, I think it runs in the family because even my brothers with the disabilities, they so smart with dates.
Yeah.
And stuff like times, like knowing like they're even better than me with it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So,
Rebuilt the whole trans in the.
well, I didn't do anything internally to the trans. But I did a lot of stuff surrounding it. I did the clutch master,
Okay.
the slave,
All right.
the shift fork, the little retainer spring that holds the shift fork in.
All right.
Throw out bearing, flywheel. What's the other one? Pilot bearing inside
Okay.
the fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All that
yeah.
stuff. The pressure plate, the clutch disc. I went with a little stage 2 competition clutch.
Okay, so you
and
got a little
flywheel.
upgrade in there too.
Little upgrade, yeah. It was
right.
basically why it wouldn't go into gear was 2 things I noticed. 2 of the springs in the clutch disc were
Right.
popped out actually.
Really?
And the throwout bearing, it has the 2 little notches that go over the shift fork.
Yeah.
One of them was just sheared. It was hanging like that when I pulled it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's how I found it. That's why it wasn't.
That's crazy how like
Yeah.
sometimes like the stuff that probably would never happen, you get in there and it's like, what the hell is
Yeah,
that?
That's what I ended up finding when
That's crazy.
I took
Is
it
it
apart.
you got rid of it because of that or
No, actually, so I had the car for about 2.5 years in
and you
total.
said you wanted to use that car for street racing made safe. Did you ever get out
I
there?
actually did race one street racing made safe with it. I did more to the car after that event, so it would
Okay.
have been better. At that time, it still wasn't
I never even got the car where I wanted it to be.
Right.
But I did do one street race and made safe, 2 40 rolls, or 20 rolls, and
What
one
was it trapping?
dig.
You remember?
Oh man, I think it was about a 101.
Okay.
I think it was borderline
Yeah,
100,
right.
just around there, give
Right
or
where
take.
I
I mean,
figured
it
it
was
would
just
be.
a K24 with DC Sport header, which is very restrictive. Actually, it's not a
Right.
great header, and the HKS high power exhaust.
Okay.
And a little intake, and that was
That's
it. That's
pretty
all
much
it,
what I figured that would run then.
That's all it had done to it. Yeah, the car I had for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
Then my brothers still were with me at the apartment all together, so
Right.
didn't have a whole bunch of money. I ended up slowly paying back Chris. All that was good.
Right.
And things I started to do a little bit towards the end was I always had a check engine light on the car for the longest time as a knock sensor. I had it on for over a year actually. As funny as it sounds, I had it on
Just ignore it.
forever. Yeah, I had it on just forever. I mean, the car drove I had so much going on with my brothers and stuff. I got the car running, it was good. And
Yeah.
while I had the car, I actually sold the Subaru finally at that time when I got the
Sad.
RSX running.
Sad story.
I sold the Subaru, so I was just down to the RSX. And I mean, there was other things that went wrong with it. I remember 2 months after I did the clutch and all that, radiator started leaking. Had to do radiator on it. You know.
Right.
I only could afford one from the parts store. Just got a budget radiator, put it in.
Right.
Did that. Eventually got the car on K-Tuner engine management.
Okay.
A year and a half after I did the clutch, way after. Finally got my brothers at the time actually left me. I put it on a K-Tuner, and I got it tuned by Derv.
Okay.
Derv tune, little tune by Derv.
Yep.
Nothing crazy power. It was just exhaust to intake. The K-Tuner made a 202 to the front wheels horsepower, 198 torque. The torque was really I was rather impressed.
I'm kind of shocked at that.
Yeah, 198. The K24A, JDM K24A, I guess it made, and it was pretty good in the power band. It made the 198. I think it was at 46 or 4,800 RPMs.
Not bad.
So it was fun, in the street, drive,
Yeah.
in the city, you know what I mean? That
Of course,
that
Light
decent
turns
torque,
green, and you got a little go. You know?
So it was a fun little car to drive.
Of course.
I never really got really where I wanted to get with it. Also, RSXs are heavier than the K chassis, and K series parts are more
'cause
expensive.
technically it was a luxury car. I don't know.
Because the type, Acura was the luxury
Acura was a
compared
luxury.
to
So
Honda.
I feel like in those cars they didn't really care about shedding weight too much, so they kind of packed that shit heavy. But I feel like those cars, if straight out the factory, if Honda were to make those cars as light and nimble as they made the Civics and stuff, those cars would have been monsters.
And it handled pretty good, even for being.
Oh yeah, I remember playing with it in the Need for Speed.
Underground.
Hell yeah.
One. It had the type, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the first car you drive.
Yeah, the RSX Type S was an Underground one. Yeah, the first Need for Speed Underground. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a fun car. I ended up selling it. My brothers were not with me. They were in. One of them was living with my dad. The other one was in a group home. And things were kind of rocky. I didn't really know how things were going to end up going. And actually, I was with one of them in the car, picked them up from the group home, never heard the two-step. Nasty. So I was with them at a Sonic in Boynton Beach. Held it for a really long time. Definitely shouldn't have done it. And it was my first car I ever had, a crazy two-step. So, me, I was just, everywhere, pop, 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 going off with it, shooting big flames out. And, I broke. I honestly, to be completely honest, something broke. Something definitely went wrong. I came out of the two-step. The motor was struggling to stay on, and the air-fuel ratio got really lean.
Okay.
I noticed on the Y, I had a little wideband on it, and I was like, man, something I'm really tight on money. I was not expect. Only car I had. I was like, yeah, this is not good. I was able to. It had no power after that. You drive it had no power.
Okay.
I made it back to bring my brother to his group home, and I made it back to the apartment complex. I had to be at work at 7 a.m. the next day, hit up my dad to take me, and the car just sat for a week, and I was like, I don't really know what direction I want to go. Because, it's heavy to make power to K-Series. I'm going to have to spend a lot of money. Is this really where I want to go? I actually sold it as is. I never even, to be completely honest, I don't lie, I never even took it apart, even tried. to even figure out. I just was like, I had it for
You
2.5 years.
You gotta judge, like, you know what it's gonna cost you, in ballpark.
Plus, it wasn't a super fast. You know what I'm saying?
Is it something you want to dump all this money into and time into when you really need this your every day?
I need a car because how am I gonna? I can't keep asking for rides.
Yeah.
So we're actually getting very closer to this now.
I'm
actually
excited.
Just to give you I ended up selling it, and I picked up. The money I sold it for, I picked up off Oakland Park, actually. Like, set 2 Hondas I've gotten off Oakland Park.
What would we do without Oakland Park Boulevard?
I don't know. 2 of my Hondas came from Oakland Park.
The Honda game would be destroyed without Oakland Park Boulevard.
I got another one there off Oakland Park. It was very clean on the outside. Honestly, the cleanest Honda I've ever had, externally wise.
That's fine. You just rip out the inside.
It was an EK hatch.
Okay.
Silver with the 99 2000, conversion, front end conversion.
Right.
Had the stock D16 Y7, the non-VTEC. It was just a super clean car.
Yeah.
On that. So I was like, you know what? I can afford it. I just need to drive. I can't ask for rides. I was working in Delray at the time, living in Lake Worth. I'm like, I gotta just get something to drive.
Sure.
So at that point, I kind of said to myself, I guess maybe my passion for trying to have something faster is just kind of like dwindling down.
Yeah.
And then that car, I just did some basic maintenance to put like front brakes on it and did like an oil change. It had no muffler when I got it, so I just got a little muffler and put it on and then just drove with it. That was really it with that car for about 4 months. And the job I was at the dealership, one of my good friends, I became friends with him, and he's really, really good guy, Miguel. He has an EG hatch. He wanted to go B-Series.
Okay.
So I pretty much went every step of the way with him to do the swap. And now this is like only December of last year, only like 4 months ago.
Right.
Did the swap, and I helped him with all that, and I was really supportive, trying to, for his passion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If you can't do yours, you might as well
I
help
was like,
somebody else.
he's got a cool car. Like, I'm just stuck with this clean, single cam. It's slow. I'm gonna support him, help him.
Of course.
And he actually hooked it up and found this trade.
Okay.
So I traded for the EK I have now, the one I'm racing in. Yep, the clean hatch. I traded with a couple $100 on top to get this, the EK sedan that I have now with the 100 shot of nitrous. And I got the car.
When you first bought this, when you first did that swap, what was in it?
This car, it actually had the same motor and trans. It's
Okay.
a full bone stock B20 from a CRV,
Okay.
non-VTEC.
Okay.
It has the Integra Type R trans with LSD.
Okay.
Super cool transmission, love it. The car I got it sometimes you would lose acceleration. Just nothing. And then it would kick in like jerky. And then you even hold your foot and go like, sometimes go on.
That's weird.
In and out. And I was like, okay, well, that was my only car too at the time when I traded. So I'm like, well, I got to figure because I can't get around. Now I got to I'll try to get some with B-Series, try to do something. I traded the car. And, I was like, okay. So me and Miguel, we looked at it and we just ended up, it had a little skunk 2 throttle body on the stock manifold. I had an OEM one just laying in the garage. So I put that on and just got a gasket, throttle body gasket from the parts store.
Right.
And I noticed that when we changed the map, the little O-ring was missing.
Huh.
So I think that could have been maybe causing like a vacuum problem or something. Also, I don't know, maybe having the bigger throttle body to the smaller intake manifolds, bad turbulence too.
Yeah.
And the TPS probably wasn't calibrated right. So when I put the OEM throttle body back on, we calibrated TPS, made sure the O-ring was there for the map.
You pretty much did it right. So whoever did it
went
before
back from the beginning to
really,
just start clean and then adjusted the throttle cable a little, and that's it.
Good to go.
That fixed it.
So it's probably whoever put it together before you didn't really put it together properly, and then just kind of got it going enough to where he could sell it, and then you kind of just fixed it up.
And
what have you done since then?
So since then, I ended up, my friend,
just got hit in the face with a bug.
What I done since then was biggest thing is 100 shot of nitrous.
Yeah.
Started off on a 75 shot.
Okay.
That's where I started off with. My friend Miguel with the hatch, told me about the International Roll Racing Association. Never heard of it. Never been in it.
He
obviously.
races?
He used to in Orlando when he used to live in Orlando.
Okay.
A lot of like on the streets though and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
He plans on wanting to be in it. Definitely by next year with his hatch for sure. Hopefully, maybe if he can
come out
make it
now.
in. If he can, I mean, his car's like gutted inside, so he needs like a roll cage and stuff because he
Okay.
can't. Like he has it like cut in.
How fast is he going?
Right now, he's got never ran at the track. He plans on going on nitrous too. He's got B20 VTEC. In it.
Okay. Well, I mean, depending on what he cut, I don't think you need roll bars until you reach a certain mile an hour, unless he's trying to like just be extra safe.
I mean, he reached out to Chris with International Road Racing Association, and Chris was like, "Yeah, to race, you need to get some kind of
so-
cage." Yeah, because it's that.
maybe he cut something that he needs to. That's fair enough. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So fair enough. I'm okay with that.
No, of course.
All right, but hopefully he makes it out. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we just put a PLM headers and a 3-inch exhaust on it yesterday, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
PLM header that, and he plans on trying to get it back on the dyno, and then do the nitrous, and
Right.
then
Dyno it,
get
it
on
tuned
it
and
and see
how
what
it
he
goes.
what he could make out of it. Yeah. So
Did you race IRA last year?
no, never.
Did you go to the event in January to see what it would run?
No, actually, funny you say that. I got this car in January. I wasn't even on nitrous till late February.
So we don't know what this thing will do.
No, I did run, and it's a good story to bring up too. I did run in the Street Kings. Remember the day after
TRC.
Valentine's Day? The
I
TR.
remember.
Yep,
I got a photo of your car, I think.
that racing channel. I was not on spray. I just like fixed the little the throttle thing with the
Right.
throttle body and went out there and
What was it
just
doing then?
ran in that. I trapped at 93. I mean, it was just a
That's
stock.
fair enough.
12.2.
Okay.
40 roll.
Right.
12.2.
With the 100
93.
shot, though, that'll put you over 100 easy.
Yeah, for sure over that. So
Yeah.
I ran with it like that with the car. I know it was super slow, nothing crazy, but I still had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Being out there, and my dad actually was out there.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually what was really like meaningful to me about it. It's the only time he's ever.
Senior race.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's actually the only person from from any of my friends and family that actually went, because that event. Remember, we had to be there at 9 a.m. So a lot of my friends, they work on Saturday. You know what I mean? So he was the only one that came out.
Right.
And yeah, that definitely is always gonna leave a mark on my heart.
I hear you.
That day it was
Spend a lot of time in the pits with your shit like that.
yeah, especially after the first one. I remember I did the first pass, and remember we got like so delayed. It was raining. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we didn't even run. Like I got there at 9. I didn't even do my first pass. I think till 1:44. I remember the time slip.
Right.
Like we got
you
there
sat
at 9.
there the whole
I
time.
didn't even run until like 1:45. Like
Yeah,
we
it was
were
a tough event.
We were in the out in the rain. It was just they kept trying to dry it off. But I did the first pass, and I remember a little bit delayed for the second one. And as you get closer, when you're in the staging lanes, like you get your helmet on, rolling up the windows. I'm like probably 2 cars deep from
Right.
going, and my dad actually came down. He wasn't in the stands. And he was by like the barricades there on the left.
Right.
And it's like that moment for me was a very special moment. It's always going to be
That's
in my
kind of
heart.
weird. And I don't mean to.
No, go ahead.
I don't mean to
Absolutely.
make you think about it a different way or make you continue to think about it. But if the race would have kicked off and there had been no rain,
Yeah.
you would have spent a lot less time with him.
Yeah.
He still got to see you race.
Yeah.
And you spent even more time with him than you planned to.
Yeah.
So almost more of a blessing in that scenario than a curse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's pretty interesting.
It was, and we got refunded too.
Yeah.
On top of all that too. On top of
They're going to throw it again, and it'll be just as big. I mean, I really feel like after this whole virus bullshit goes away, I really think that what's going to happen is people are going to start to understand. I hope people are going to start to understand that, we need to go to the track. Like, I need to get some racing done. I need to put my foot down. And you're not going to be able to do it on the street as much because everybody's going to be coming out of their house,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and wanting to be going out at night and going to parties and going to work and things like that. So I'm hoping it drives more people to the track. As much as I've never condoned street racing. All right, it's just not my thing. If you want to do it, that's fine. It's up to you. I don't bash on anybody for it. And I know it's a thing. It'll always be around. But I always tried to say, be safe about it. Go to the track. Pay that $20, whatever the it is. but you got medical staff there. You're not going to kill nobody. Hopefully you won't kill yourself. Like, there's a reason to go to the track. Yes, everyone complains it's so far away. It's really not that far away.
It's not, honestly.
Yeah. You know what? Let me explain this. I'm sorry.
No,
All the
you're
people
good.
who
No need
say
to
that the
apologize
track
at
is
all.
too far away. Every time I rode my motorcycle with my friends when I had my motorcycle, and we always wanted to go out and ride, where do you guys want to? Damn motorcycles, man. Weird. This is fucking weird, right? So every time we went out somewhere, we'd be like, yo, where do you guys want to go eat? They would always pick some place that was like far away. And I never understood that. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why do we got to go so far just to drive all the way back? And they're like, dude, I'm not going to get on my motorcycle for 10 minutes and go eat and then come back. I'd rather ride my motorcycle for, an hour, eat, and then ride an hour back. Like, it's just, you get more riding in. I don't understand. Now, for the people who trailer their shit up to the track, I get it. It's a lot to trailer it up there. However, you made a race car, grow some balls, drive it to the track. But for street cars that actually can drive to the track, I don't see the reason why not to drive that hour, that 30 minutes, that 45 minutes to get to the track.
About how it is from my apartment.
Yeah, you're
40
behind the
minutes,
wheel,
so, yeah.
dude. Where else would you rather be than in your car, being able to ride to the track, make a couple passes, and come home? I just never understood that. But I digress. C4, right?
C4, yeah.
C4 class. What's the goal for this car? Like, is there anything coming down the pipe, or where you're at financially is kind of we're staying where we're at? What's
financially,
next?
yeah, for me, I mean, and I know that there's a lot of cars in that class are definitely making more power and faster. I don't want anyone to think by any means that like, oh, I think I have the super fast car. Like, I'm passionate about racing. I just want to go out there and run my best race.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not, to me, that means like
You're doing it
the
because
world.
you love the sport and you're fun.
Exactly. Whatever I run, I run.
But you're still, yeah. Well,
That's really what it come for me. I'm not trying to like,
that's
think
cool
that
because you'll accept any run. But the problem is, I know you want to win.
I mean, everybody does, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, yeah, I think my car is going to... No, I'm not going to. Because, I mean, those cars... I know, seen a lot of the cars, and they're fast. I mean, they make more power. They're not as budget built like mine. Like, I mean...
So, for the people who...
Yeah, so, I mean, I understand where I stand. Like,
So
you know what
for-
I mean?
yeah,
I get where I
get it.
stand. I'm not thinking I'm some big shot or nothing like, nah.
But I'm interested in this because a lot of the people that I've talked to, they're like, oh, I don't want to come out because I'm not going to win. I'm going to be useless. Or like, I don't want to put this extra power in. It'll put me at the bottom of the next class. And I get it, all right, for those who are contending for a spot. But for someone like you who understands that I'm probably not going to win,
Yeah, of course.
but it's awesome.
Honestly.
I'm fun. I'm going to have a blast. I'll probably win a couple races. You'll probably win a couple. But my thing is like, you're still driven to go to the track and drive the IRRA, excuse me. You're still driven to go and drive the IRRA and still compete. I don't think you're gonna have an answer, but like there's a lot of people that I talk to that are like, yo, I don't want to go out there because there's no way I'm gonna win. And I'm like,
Yeah, to me it's not about winning. It's about going out there and who I do it for. It's even stronger now with my dad passing away.
Right.
My mom's always been one of my biggest motivations and why I do what I do.
right.
And yeah, I mean that's really it. I mean I big believer in Christ and God, and that's why I have a Bible verse across
Yeah,
it.
what does that mean, by the way?
John 11:35 is actually one of the shortest verses in the Bible. It's Jesus wept, and it actually is from the story of Lazarus. And Jesus actually rose Lazarus from the dead. He was in the tomb for 4 days. And God really spoke to me when I got this car that I thought my passion for racing was kind of just like I had no hope. And the beginning of the year, like, it worked out for one of my friends to co-sign with me, Caesar, to have a daily. So that helps out with this. So I have another car. It all happened so fast. I got this trade both in January, like right in the beginning of the year. And I was actually at the DMV, put in the title and the registration
Right.
on for it. And I was reading John chapter 11, story of Lazarus coming, Jesus rose him from the
Right.
dead. And I really felt like, God was saying to me, Lazarus' story wasn't over yet.
Right.
He thought it was, he was dead for 4 days. Like, your story, your passion for racing's not over yet.
I feel you.
So that's kind of like why I went with the John 11. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and also, you know, at that time when he wept, you know, he shows compassion for people who's crying with Lazarus's family when they're looking, when they seen that he was dead.
Yeah, I'm not a very religious person, but I can get behind a
you get like I don't want to try to make it too loud, but like
no,
that's
but
really
you
it. Like
you get
my,
behind a
like,
message like that,
like a story. Person was passed away. Like it spoke to me. Like yeah, you think your story, your passion for racing's dead, but it, you know, it's not.
Fair enough. I like it.
So that's why.
Bro, I'm excited to see you race. I'm excited to see you race IRA and see how this goes. Hopefully, the next time we sit down and we do this again, we'll have some good stories from the season. Hopefully, the season can kick the off and we can get racing. But
yeah, I know, because now this Saturday's obviously not gonna happen on the second.
But I think. I have faith in Chris and IRA and PBIR.
Absolutely.
And they'll find a way to make that work. They know how much, you know, IRA means to that, you know, the people around here and how much we want to get that going. And when it does kick back off, I think it's going to kick back off pretty big. So we'll see you there. We're going to actually, again, we'll be broadcasting from the track for the IRA events. I got to request off work for the new dates, whatever they will get.
Yeah, one day.
But yeah, I'll be the brother and I will be there, talking about racing, talking about everything, doing interviews while we're there and see how it goes. But I really appreciate you making the trip down.
No, of course. I appreciate you reaching out to me and taking your time.
You got a hell of a story, man, and I wish nothing for the best for you and your brothers.
Your time I'm super humbled by it, and it's for a couple of months. It's crazy.
It's gonna
grow.
grow.
The 100 shot, you know, just like in a couple of months. Like, I mean, I know it's nothing crazy fast, but
it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow.
Happened, and
stick by your faith, and everything will work out.
Absolutely.
I hear you. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us. Again, if you're on the podcast, like, subscribe, share it, 5 stars, do what you got to do. If you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, notifications, comment, do your thing, share it, let everybody know. We really appreciate everybody's support. Check out beardedgaragistas.com. Patreon shop is coming. We won't just have Bearded Garagistas stuff. Any motorsports apparel, we plan on designing a bunch of it and getting it out there to you. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.